Hello, Seth. So Sketch, really terrific kids film, and the monsters are fantastic in it as well. Something kind of not seen for a while. So I was just wondering who came up with those monsters? Are they your design or kids or what?
All of the above. They are um, so some of them when I wrote the script, I had some of them I had a specific vision in mind. Like the Eiders, for example, were I from the beginning I knew I wanted one of the monsters to be a basically spiders with eyeballs for bodies that were made of chalk. And I saw red being the best, most striking color of them. And so I had that in mind. And then I knew that, Dave, that monster, it was just in my head as a big blue sphere with long blue legs and made of crayon. But the rest of them, uh, I didn't really have a lot of specific vision in my head for it. And so um, the process on designing the monsters was an amazing team of concept artists led by Michael Cribbs. Did a pass of concept art for us, and we honed in on these monster designs, and then we would hand them off. Then we took the concept art and gave it to a bunch of our kids and had our kids copy them, like just look at the images and copy them, not trace them, but like just draw them based on memory. And then what we got from those was all of these like asymmetries and just weird little quirks and nuances that you get from a kid's drawing. And we took those and redid the concept art influenced by that.
Right.
But then, once we got into post-production and we were actually building the 3D assets of the creatures themselves and figuring out what they look like in monster, real life form, that suddenly influenced uh, some design changes happened, and with that influence, what the drawing should look like. And so it was a constantly evolving thing. And even some of the time, our actor Bianca would be in frame drawing, either sitting in the background, supposed to be drawing on a notebook, or she'd be in the shot drawing things. And she'd seen the concept art, so she would be drawing her interpretation of the monsters. And some of that stuff had things that we hadn't thought of, and so that would influence the design as well. So it's a very fluid process.
It's interesting that you say about Bianca drawing because sort of a little bit giving away a sort of trade secret for audiences, but the kids' drawings in the film, who actually draws those kids' drawings? Is it the art department or is it kids?
Well, it was largely the art department. Um, but like sometimes, like I said, we'd have a shot on Bianca who is drawing sometimes while other characters are talking, and what she's drawing, she's actually drawing it. And so it's usually based on art that the art department did. But it's largely the art department, which is funny because it was an artist named Christian. Oh, I'm blanking on Christian's last name, and I don't want to get it wrong. But Christian would uh, he had the task of taking drawings that were like basically playing the part of a depressed 12-year-old girl and through art. And he was great. He like took all of these designs and unified them in this kind of artistic voice. Um, and to his credit, he also had to recreate some drawings that my own kids had done on their own, because there's three monsters that happen in the third act that were based entirely on drawings that I have three kids and each of them had done. And so he was having to take actual kids' drawings along with kids' drawings that adults had kind of interpreted, and he had to unify them all. And he did a great job.
Now, the children, the three main children you've got are terrific in this. They're really
Yeah.
terrific, and they are quite experienced anyway in making films. But I was just wondering, when you were casting, did they have to go through an audition process, or were they sort of automatically, yeah, I'm going to have Bianca?
Well, I mean, it was a standard audition process. I remember calling my friend Jessica Sherman, the casting director, and saying, I need three kids. I need them to be incredible, and I need them in like 2 weeks. And she brought in a ton of tapes from just the most talented kids I've ever seen. And these three just popped out immediately. So it was kind of to answer your question, it was kind of a combination of both. It was a standard audition process, but like the second I saw Bianca, I was like, oh, you're Amber. Like, this is who Amber should be. Like, she had this punk rock vibe to her that I can't explain. And she also just felt like she played Amber like this character, like this person who had this really uh interesting, funny, weird person, like confident person that she was hiding from the world to protect her, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it just I loved her from the get-go. She was so perfect. And then Q auditioned for the part of Bowman originally, and I was like, no, you're a big fat sweetheart, and you need to play Jack. And then Callan, God bless him, was just so funny in his first audition tape and felt like he just embodied the spirit of Bowman, because he felt like he was making up everything he was saying on the spot, and then it felt like it was all a lie, but he was convinced he was selling it. Like, all that vibe overall is the way
Yeah.
Callan was delivering these lines, and I was like, this is it, man, you're the guy.
So there are quite strict conditions for on film sets for children to work on. So
Yeah,
although all of this is kind of set, I think in daytime, but did that impact on your ability to shoot anything at all?
well, I mean, of course, like, but that's the ball game. I mean, that's the game. That's how you, I mean, that's how there's always restrictions, right? And so casting kids, yes, there become new restrictions, but I like to see them as uh opportunities to narrow down your choices and to force you to be as efficient as possible. And it's not always easy, but we were constantly planning our shot lists and our shoot days. Are like, I think there are a lot of directors and DPs who will kind of just let the AD figure that out and deal with that problem of how much school we owe the kids and how, long we have the kids. But we found, my DP Meg Stacy and I found that we had to work so closely with Kyler Wilson, our AD, to like make to know to so all three of us knew at all times how much school each kid owed, how much time we had with each kid left, so we could be efficient in how we were getting our days done. And it just took an extensive amount of collaboration and communication, really.
So there's a sequence in this. You've alluded to what influenced the film for you, and there's a sequence in this. It's the monsters. Dave's attack on the bus. Is that your T-Rex in Jurassic Park homage?
Yeah, it was funny as I told all our department heads up front. It was like, we are going to accidentally rip off all of our favorite things with this movie. So let's not try to do any of it on purpose. Like, let's not go out of our way to plant Easter eggs or do little homages or call outs, because they're going to happen by accident. Let's just let that happen. And so, yeah, as a result, you do a sequence where a monster attacks a vehicle with kids on it. Like, you're like, it's going to have Jurassic Park in it, because built into the DNA of the story, like you said, was our pitch was always Inside Out meets Jurassic Park. And people would read it as a horror film, and we had to remind them, no, this is an adventure film. Like, this is Jurassic Park is scary and exciting and funny and fun. And we're not making a movie filled with dread. We're making a movie filled with adventure. And when it's scary, but it's fun. And so, yes, to answer your question, 100%, it's the T-Rex scene. Like, I think the influences are so just loud and clear in the movie that I would be a fool to pretend otherwise.
Was there, I mean, there's a great sequence, but was that the most difficult scene for you to shoot in the film?
That's a great question. It was certainly difficult. Partly, I mean, for one, I'm never going to film on a school bus again. The school buses, they're built for people tinier than me. They are they're not air conditioned, because we apparently don't believe that children need air conditioning. And you develop what we call bus brain after being on it for a certain amount of time. You're always in somebody's way, and somebody's always in your way. And at a certain point, I would just be staring at my shot list and not understanding words anymore. And I'd have to like get off and take a break. But it was not as hard as it may look, because we had an incredible team that kept things safe, kept things efficient and moving, and an incredible group like of talent that was like so game for everything that we threw at them. And the kids were like so professional and having a blast. And I mean, it shows on screen. I'm so proud of how that sequence came out, for sure.
So then finally, this seems a film that's ideal for a sequel. Is there a sequel in mind for it?
I mean, yeah, I think there's so many opportunities to continue these characters' story. I think it's just all about like, what's another monumental event that would change this family's life in a way that would be fun for us to experience, in a way that would externalize some kind of internal emotional growth for all three of them. And I think there's plenty of opportunities for it. Yeah.
Surely it's dad remarrying.
What was that?
Surely it's dad remarrying.
You know, that's a very fun idea, and I would be lying if I said I hadn't been thinking about that. Yeah.
Okay.
We all love the Parent Trap, right? We all love the idea of like a parent getting remarried, and what happens if we don't like who that parent is remarrying, you know? I always think a big influence on this film was Sleepless in Seattle. And I always think about that poor like first woman that Tom Hanks dates, you know, that Jonah cannot
Yeah.
stand. And like, yeah. So I'm thinking about it all the time.